You're listening to the Becoming ZESTY podcast. We are Megan and Dr. Alex, and we're so happy that you're here.
We are passionate about accelerated transformation, yours, ours, and the collective.
Personal and professional for coaches, practitioners, and leaders of all kinds.
Between the two of us, we seem to have done things the painful way. So let our pitfalls become your stepping stones. We are not afraid to share our raw and vulnerable truths in order to help you transform your thinking, your body, your heart, and your soul.
Combining over 15 years of functional medicine with brain-based habit change to lead you to create the life of your dreams, supporting yourself through all four bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic, every step of the way.
We are transformation accelerators, wholeness cultivators, empowerment experts, speakers, authors, mentors, and change makers for a more loving world. By combining Dr. Alex's MD experiences
with Megan's mindset magic, we've helped hundreds of thousands of people transform their lives, and we can help you too. If you're ready to accelerate your transformation and have so much fun doing it, then stick around. We've got you covered. Quick reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your doctor, not this doctor, before making changes. Now let's get into today's episode. Hello everybody, Alex here with you. Welcome to Becoming ZESTY podcast. We have finalized our rebrand and it feels so good. I love it. Well, welcome to the show. Today we are going to talk about we and the concept of how we all talk. So, a wordy podcast, but a good one a good topic to consider nonetheless. And thank you for being here. We are so excited to have you. So, I heard someone mention this topic at an event that I was at. And it was more of an offhand remark, but to me, it ended up triggering a whole bunch of thoughts that I had around it. And it was the concept of, in society, we talk as a we. And that comment really stood out to me because it's so true. I mean, I thought about when I talk about society, or I talk about groups of people, or I talk about ZESTY, or I talk about my family unit. I speak in we, and depending on the context, who that is either identified or to kind of presuppose that I'm talking in the we. And it got me thinking that, it is true. We do talk like that, right? And in this one, I just use that as like in a society, in our languaging, at least in English, we say, we talk like this, right? Not just me. And so then it got me thinking, I was like, when we talk like that, it really actually begs the question of who we are identifying with when we talk in we's, right? Because if we have a lot of choices in the we's that we associate with, then which we's are we actually associated with, right? So there's lots of ways in our identity as an individual, in our businesses, and in our group dynamics, whether it's family or friends, however you categorize it. We consider who we're around, but oftentimes that's kind of the rub, is that a lot of times the we's also involve historic we's. This is the I've known them for a long time, so we're a we kind of situation, right? They might not be aligned with me anymore, but we's a we. And so that can happen, or it could be event-based we's, right? We went through this together and therefore we share our history, and that is collective. And there is obligatory we's, as in they helped me in this way in the past and therefore we're a we. So while overwhelmingly a good thing, right? It's good that it seems like we're pack animals. We are, as humans, we love connection and love and all of that. And so the inclination towards a we-ness is, I think, an organic thing for us. But as leaders, we have to ask ourselves then, which we's are we associating with, and why are we associating with them, right? Because so often, now we teach coaches how to coach and get transformation faster for themselves and for their clients. And so we work with a lot of coaches and we come across a lot of different kinds of people. And for the most part, there's a lot of desires that people doing this kind of work have, and they see opportunities. They see opportunities for change in the world. They see different ways of doing things. And oftentimes they also have we statuses with people that are not necessarily supportive of that, right? They're potentially historical we's, and it's a common one of we have this shared history, therefore we will consider this transformation. And that's where, depending on how that goes, it can be supported or it can be unsupported. Now, just because we have a historic we, that does not mean and somehow it's not of service to us, does not necessarily mean that we're going to get rid of it, right? There's seasons, and anyone who's been in a relationship for a long time, you know this, right? It's not going to be perfect or 100% supportive or read my mind on what my desires are 100% of the time, right? And so it is all right that those kind of things happen. However, then, if that kind of thing is true, and especially if that we has some things in it that's true for, then it also behooves us to consider what other we's we're associated with. Who are we rubbing elbows with? Who are we coming into contact with? And who are their identities? Are they the ones that we want? Are they the ones where we are moving in that direction too? Are they role models for us? Are they helpful for the parent? Are they tussling with the same issues and we can all talk about it, right? This isn't a conversation about judgment. This is not like, oh, that person's too negative, or this person's not positive enough, or maybe their goals just aren't as big as mine, right? None of this conversation is from a place of one person being better than another person in any way at all. It is simply the acknowledgement that, and most people do, who we hang around matters, and the we-ness that we associate with will determine the results that we then experience in our lives, right? So it means the type of money we'll make, the kind of clients that we work with, the kind of impact we have in the world, the consistency with which we do that, the choices to be loving and giving out in the world, even if someone's a stranger. All of these things are ways of interacting in the world, and the people, you can tell the we-ness of somebody by the way that they speak and the we's that they are talking about, right? The we's that they are describing and the we's that they are interacting with are then implied in their speech. And it's implied in what they say, and we are no different, right? Each individually, if it's me talking or you listening, we do that too. And so as we talk and as somebody else speaks, it does help us to expand and to grow and to become who we're most proud to be at the end of the line, at the end of our life, if we consider intentionally the we's that come up the most. And depending on your thoughts on that, how are they working, right? Evaluation to me is a different thing than judgment. Judgment is a more of like a critique of something or some situation or some person. Whereas in an evaluation is, this is like truthfully, authentically, and courageously, this is what it is right now. And maybe this is the problem I can see with that. What else do I have that does have that component to make sure that I have all the things that I need to continue to step forward into the person that I am and that I want to become moving forward, right? The one that I want more and more evidence for out in the world that me and everybody else can actually see. And because of that reason, we really, the words will alert you, and your own words will tell a story of what that is. When you're talking to friends, when you're talking to clients, when you're talking to family or kids, see what comes up. And this can be a beautiful conversation to have if you have kids, or if you are around kids that maybe they're not yours, but you are an influential figure in their life, to have the conversations of who you're around matters, right? And to use our languaging to begin to express that. And this is where role modeling can be done in a way that it's not lecturing, whether it's to kids or clients or other adults, right? It's not lecturing. It's not, here's what I think you should do, blah, 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 right? It is like a more of a directive thing. It's really just a way to say, I care about the we that I am in, the we's that I am in, because we all have many, right? And when we do that and we give credence to it and honor it and make decisions that say, I choose to give myself the things that I need and make me feel good and supported and all of those aspects of it. And then, in an indirect way, the message is, and you can do that too, right? So I like this style of leadership myself. No, I'm not making a case that everyone should be like that. But I personally like using languaging and my own thoughts around the decisions that I'm making, narrating that stuff out loud, because then it alerts people to the possibility of where they can make decisions for themselves, right? It's like, oh, that kind of thinking about my life, I decided how I was going to think on that. That's you said it, and you can change your mind and you can make it work for you moving forward. So with that, it's a much more intentional way of taking on responsibility for what's happening in our life, because quite frankly, it is so easy to get swept up in the we's, right? Because the we's often, especially historically, they see us in a way that we used to be. But, and maybe they liked it, maybe they didn't. But if we are trying to change, what is that dynamic here now? What is happening within it? Could be good, could be bad. That I'm not saying, I'm not future casting on anything, because honestly, each scenario is a little different. But we know that will impact what we do, what we think, what we say, what we act on, right? It will actually change the results that we get in life. So every time that we get to set that and role model and begin to create this supportive structure, that then creates a ripple effect of supportive structures for everybody around us. And then the more we all do this, the more we begin to connect those structures together, right? If our community and your community and another person's community all begin to have overlapping concentric circles, well then heck, there's a lot of really supported, really resourced, super empowered people walking around in the world trying to make this place a better place. Isn't that what we're all talking about wanting? So, I feel like I always end off here is that really for leaders, if we are talking about wanting it, there's plenty of things we can do right now to decide that we will make it a reality out in the world and move as such. And that's really, to me, what this whole game is about, right? How do I free myself of all the things that keep me stuck, including the we's, and liberate myself to a place where I can truly move forward in a way that says, how do I serve? Megan and I go with the win-win-win, right? Win for me, win for you, win for the world, win all around. So I invite you to consider the we's. And sometimes what I like to do is just get out a journal or a sheet of paper. And when I'm doing activities like this, just begin to make little bubbles on the sheet of groups of people that I identify with and belong to. And that may be like I was born and grew up in Russia, right? So I can say a we part of me is Russian people, or people that were born there at least. And then there's a we of the people who were born there and moved to the US, we. And then the people that, study at University of Chicago, we. And for me to write down all these things and look and say, wow, there's actually a lot of we's. And out of all the things on the page, my predominant state day to day, am I in a growth, expansion, things are transforming and moving forward space? Is not you're happy every day, but like, are things flowing forward? Are things going in the general direction you like? Well, then, okay, and you spend most of your day doing that kind of thing, cool. Then there's a lot of great things happening there. If you look at all that whole page and it's super filled out of we's, and you spend most day questioning yourself, feeling icky and unsure and feeling stuck and whatever, this is where we say, oh, I get it. This is how I just answered my own question for a lot of stuff. And even if I don't like what I see, the leadership part of me gets to say, I can make it different and change it to what I want. I don't have to like that I have to put in the work either, is the beautiful thing about authenticity, is I can gripe along the way and still improve it for myself, right? It's like no one's making you be super cheery about doing stuff you don't want to do, but if you need something in life and you got to do it, it's like you can be just as authentic as you truly want to be. And in leadership, no one's going to stop you. And that's literally the whole thing about freedom here, right? At the end of the line on this whole thing that we do, and the work we put in, and the self-development, and the leadership development, and the thought leadership that we undergo and experience, and all that stuff, it's to, at the end of the line, live a free life where we're like, no one can really make me do anything. What I and we, whichever we you're part of, what we decide is what we're doing. And if you, let's say you're part of a we partnership, right? If you get to where most people want to be, is get to the place where you don't come pitch me an idea of a we that's a thing for us we that involves acting out of limitation or obligation or guilt or blame or things like that, reactive things, and rather coming from a place of what do we want to do, coming from the identity of who we are most proud to be out in the world, right? And that's that kind of freedom that we are all generally working towards. And to me, this is an important part of the equation. All right, that's what I got for you. Happy weeing. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for coming to hang out with us on the podcast. It is our goal to lead others through accelerated transformation that takes all parts of ourselves into account. And we need your help. We need your help to get the word out. At almost 2 million downloads and quickly heading to 3, we know that as this podcast grows, we're going to be able to reach more and more people and help them learn how all 4 bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic, work so they feel empowered to be, do, and have whatever they want in life.
If you find this podcast helpful, please take a moment to text 5 friends you think might benefit and leave us a review. It means so much to share this work that has transformed our lives with others. We appreciate your help so much and can't wait to see you next time.